How good is Mike Israetel's home gym, and how well does he know gym equipment? Check it out, Nathan Clark, Domination Nation Gym. I'm going to be reacting to two videos today, so this will be a little longer video. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this critique and run through. What's up, beautiful people? So we're going to go over Mike Israetel's updated home gym. This is not the first video he made. He made one a couple of years ago. This is his update about 7-8 months ago. He's talking about some of the changes he made in equipment. We'll just kind of sneak through this one, and then I'm going to sneak through his top 10. He and Jared Feather talk about top 10 best gym machines, so stay tuned. So he spent about 250 grand initially on his gym, and he said his gym sucks. So pendulum squat. You guys probably have mostly all seen his original videos. Nice space. It's blacked out. So 2020, he bought a lot of. He's saying so a lot of equipment he bought initially in COVID, and then just kind of as he's gone along, he's changed things per his what he likes and enjoys and what he's learned along the process. So we'll just kind of skip along a little bit here. So the house is being finished. So more or less he talks about at the time buying what was available. You guys remember COVID, the prices were crazy. Prices are still kind of crazy, but at the time of COVID, you know, he kind of just bought what was available. A lot of constraints. Sure. So we'll kind of skip through that, but the main lesson from this that I would just propose to you guys is very rarely, if ever, do I see in a home gym setting, even in a commercial gym setting, someone that just buys everything all at once have like the ultimate gym. The best gyms in the world, the best gyms I've been to, the best gyms are almost always ones that are kind of slowly accumulated with time. It's not something you just buy all at once. Not just availability, but you need time to try and test and tweak things. So that's the lesson I think that he's talking about from his experience. Is very rarely, if ever, you're just going to buy everything at once and have the ultimate gym. Like the ultimate gym, the best gym equipment, the best compilation of gym equipment, seldom. I've never seen a gym that's just made all at once that just has all the best gym equipment. I mean, that's a lesson. Don't freak out if you can't get everything at once. It's often a slow, gradual accumulation of things. And honestly, you need to test things out personally. Like we go off of the opinions of influencers and whatever, and that's kind of my beef with a lot of this. You know, independent of the influencer label, how well does he actually know gym equipment? You know, these people are out there. They may be well known in the community. They're decent guys, but doesn't necessarily mean they know gym equipment well. Doesn't necessarily mean because you can inject yourself with juice and look big and be a sponsor for Panada or whoever that you actually know gym equipment. So that's the lesson I would propose to you, as well as just don't freak out if you can't get everything all at once. I mean, it's just a slow accumulation process. Let's go to the actual equipment. First must-have.
All right, folks. The first thing I had to have.
Let's see what he talked about.
Trying to get a little better is an Element for. Do you feel me?
All right, so this is his. He's obviously sponsored by Element. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not gonna go there.
I took the Atlantis linear leg press hack squat combo, and I replaced it with a Rogers.
So what do you guys think of that switch? So he switched the selectorized adjustable Atlantis leg press with the Rogers. I've had both on the OG pendulum. And he's talking about from his perspective, he's super short, so he bottoms out without getting a full stretch on the Atlantis. The Atlantis is a great piece. You're just starting at the bottom. I had it for years. I thought it was a great piece. With all the other cool stuff I have, it just didn't have room after a while. After a while, honestly, with all the cool leg equipment, I only really ever used it for calves. You know, because it became obsolete with a lot of the other cool machines. So he's talking about the Rogers pendulum. So very, very well known piece. I've got the OG version. Obviously, it's used in a lot of gyms. What I would say is he's absolutely correct. This piece is made for someone very, very short. If you're 5'6" or shorter, this is like a perfect squat movement. The issue with this machine is the length of the lever arms makes it so the taller you are, the longer your femurs are, the more it becomes a good morning exercise. If you put some wedges in front, it changes it, but the more this becomes a good morning exercise and not an actual squat, it can put tension and stress on your lower back. So the Rogers is a great piece, but in my opinion, it's nowhere near the best squat ever. But it's made for short people, short femurs, because the length of that lever arm, I could show you in a separate video, is such that the swing of it is going to put stress on your lower back, and you're going to do a glorified good morning movement unless you're on a bunch of wedges in front of you.
This beautiful thing where if you put the plates on the top side.
Sure. Obviously, they offer the weight option. I can show you my OG pendulum. It's got 5 different weight horn options. You can never have too many, in my opinion. But having this machine for probably 10, 12 years, to me, with all the other stuff I've got in my gym, the only thing I really use it for now is single leg Bulgarian splits. I don't use it for regular squats anymore because it's a little bit too much tension on my lower back. But to me, with a bench behind me with a Fortis hip thrust bench, one-legged Bulgarians are perfect with this. Other than that, I don't really use the machine.
Like I have illustrated.
Let's go on to the next one. But honestly, this machine fits in his frame perfectly because he's so short. But it's the length of these lever arms here, because they're short. If they made these lever arms adjustable, so I love the pad, this is great, but these lever arms here, they need to be adjustable for different heights. Because the longer your femurs are, the more it's going to become a good morning exercise, not a squat. Let's see what his next one is.
Behind the neck easy bar extensions.
So he more or less bought a fixed shoulder press, bench, whatever, tons of people make it, to kind of replace an actual shoulder press machine. He's kind of just showing you doing tricep exercise on it as well. But this is lots of companies are making just a fixed 70-degree shoulder press bench. All right, let's see what his next one is. Shoulder press machine.
There was a brave exercise equipment company that made an arguably...
Everything's so dramatic and epic, and that's what makes him hilarious. Because he's just got this wry humor that most people enjoy.
With a pit bull. Now I know what you're thinking. You're asking incredibly important questions like...
So he's talking about, so he got a pit shark more or less. He changed his Matt Wenning belt squat to a pit shark. Both are great machines. The reason people love the Matt Wenning belt squat is it's more of a 1-to-1 ratio, because if you're ego lifting, you can actually feel like you're squatting that actual weight, whereas there's more of a mechanical advantage built into the pit shark. But I agree, the pit shark is a very underappreciated movement.
What I know about like zygotic trajectory.
So he's going to show on here. There's tons of different movements you can do with it. Obviously, he's super short, so he's got a bunch of pads built up. But the beauty of this machine, I agree, is you can absolutely do bent over rows, back movements. My favorite way to use this, I'll show you a video a little bit later of a face-away RDL. Because it's just phenomenal. It takes the stress off the lower back. The biggest issue with this is the mechanical advantage built into it. So I rarely, if ever, have it on the furthest rung, because you can load it with 15 plates. Like, people think they're actually strong. Loading it. If you don't use this machine with bands, like, it's worthless in my opinion. You have to use the pit shark with bands. Like, otherwise, it's, unless you're doing like weighted pull-ups or weighted dips, otherwise there's just so much mechanical advantage built into it. It's kind of a joke. So I'm in the process of this. He's talking about the Matt Benning. Look how wide that thing is. It's a great machine too, but it's not as versatile as the pit shark, and it's so freaking wide. Like, so I'm debating tweaking my pit shark to make it a little less mechanically advanced, so you don't have to add as much plates and make it a little more narrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to or not, but I'm definitely debating it. But it is a good machine.
I'm able to do 2/3 my reps on it.
All right, next one.
Was I got rid of my
He got rid of his old chest press machine.
I got sight unseen. That chest press machine suffered from, I would say, 3 problems. One, it didn't have a leg power.
So he had an old Star Trek, just simple, non-converging, fused arm machine. Basic pedestrian machine. Not a bad machine, but as far as chest presses go, you can do a lot better, selectorized or plate loader. But he changed his to a hoist selectorized chest press. Let's just go.
Pretty hard loaded on there, and tears your triceps. Realize the hoist makes them moist. The hoist chest press machine.
Hoist rocket. So this is their most updated
for the feet,
selectorized.
the machine using
So obviously it gives you a pre-stretched foot lever.
It has a multiple selectorized grip option.
You can multiply.
Touch of cataclysmic deep stretch to your chest, and it's tons of force down there.
Yeah, the handle angle is decent.
And I didn't mention one thing: it's smooth as silk. None of this.
So it's talking about smooth. Obviously, the hoist seems to be something in the industry people love or hate. But this is a good machine. I wouldn't say it's phenomenal, but it is a good machine. The benefit of this machine is it's placing your torso in such a way that the movement arm, the path of the arms and the path of the movement keeps tension on the pecs. The only problem is it doesn't converge. It's nice that you can adjust the arms on this. But I'll show you a clip of my plate-loaded modified hoist rocket chest press that just totally just destroys this. All right, I'll show you a quick click. I modified this for the last time a couple weeks ago. I showed this on here before, but this is my latest modification. I'm trying out my newest handle, so check this out. Look at how much stretch I can start with on the. Would you kind of show you different angles with the seat up, the seat back. But I'll show you a view from the side. I want you to see how much stretch I'm able to start this movement with, and how well this converges and contracts. Obviously, you can see I've modified it so I'm able to get tension all the way through the view. All right, so you can check out this view from the side. This is my bottom handle. Look at how much stretch I start with. So I've showed this on a few other pieces. This becomes a hybrid chest press versus pec fly movement. So the cool thing is how I'm able to hit this from every single angle. But the idea is I'm able to combine the perfect trajectory and handle grip angle to stimulate chest with crazy stretch and contraction in conjunction with a perfect strength curve with the rocket technology, which keeps the tension on my chest. Notice how my chest moves away, and the motion path is such that tension and stress is on my chest the whole time right here. Anyways, you guys will have to try this. It's just an unbelievable machine. So then you got a sauna, which is cool. We're going to focus probably just on gym equipment, but hyperthermic conditioning is a real phenomenon. I mean, anybody that's serious about recovery, longevity, you know, the interferon, the IF that's released from going to the sauna is unreal, the health benefit. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's not worth the space in my gym. Where I have my gym, I keep mine in a separate location, so I have more space for equipment. But I absolutely agree. Sauna is a phenomenal investment.
We do have a sauna. This is our new shit. It's made of the finest Nordic woods, I think. And since I assume this was just...
we're going to go back to a sauna. I think that's all he talks about with equipment. He talks about his Old Faithfuls.
Doesn't mean I'm changing everything. A ton of the machines here I really love. The Arsenal leg press is phenomenal. I can't get enough of that machine. Best leg press ever made.
So it's a little bit of a lofty claim. Arsenal, it's probably one of the few pieces in their line that's actually decent. They've got the calf block. It's obviously made after the Nebula. Very smooth, very nice. But I've got so many. No, it's nowhere near the best leg press ever. But I do agree it's a nice leg press. I'll show you a clip of my UCS, unilateral bilateral linear rail leg press. I think it's probably the best linear rail leg press ever because I've fixed a lot of the issues that the old linear rail leg presses. But that being said, if you guys have followed me, you know I would take a hinge leg press over a linear rail leg press any day. So he's got the free motion dual cable crossover. Cool machine, obviously very, very versatile with the ability to move the arms in and out. And the T-bar, Atlantis T-bar, I've modified this a gazillion times. This is a good machine with reverse bands in particular. And the prime leg extension, leg curl, very good selectorized. Very nice pieces. And he's got the Smith machine, the assisted pull-up. You know, obviously very functional home gym. He's got lots of space if he wanted to add other stuff. But he obviously probably has influencers over and does all sorts of content from his gym, so he wants some space so it's not as cramped, so to speak.
But
For me, I'd rather have more equipment.
the last big change that we've made to the gym so far is all the way back there behind me. You'll see that we've installed a few new panels of
Panels heated.
The
Yeah, so he's adjusted his HVAC, heating, cooling. He lives in Michigan, so it definitely gets cold in the winter. Let's see if he's got anything else on
and the
equipment
heat
wise.
stuff and a bunch of the new.
Future plans. Let's see what he's got for future
So
plans.
where do we take this gym in the future? It's a little bit tough to say because there's all sorts of opportunities, all sorts of potential things to do. The one thing that I'm big on is when you have machines that are very good, you don't get rid of them. You keep milking them out. Like, I'm not trying to buy a new machine every other day to replace the shit. No thanks.
Sure.
But we do have some open space, and I'm thinking that a few machines could enhance the situation.
Yeah, obviously he's, from my perspective, you guys follow my content. It's a very good gym. There's definitely quite a bit of movements lacking, quite a bit of opportunity for improvement, but he's got many of the basics. And like he said, after you've been in the home gym game for a while, there's less of you get over this like novelty, this dopamine driven novelty of buying something new, and you actually just stick with what works for you and what fits your body well and what's reliable for you, independent of what any equipment is OG or not OG. Like OG not OG becomes less important, rare not rare becomes less important, but what becomes important as you get older is what's functional, what works for you, and ultimately what you enjoy the best, not what somebody says is the best. So
It's looking pretty damn good, and we might get some kind of universal machine. There's some really cool stuff I've seen on the internet where it's a machine that can do a bunch of different stuff. We might.
And that's obviously the main thing, which is why I modify my machines a specific way to try to make them as multifunctional as possible. I think that's the way where the industry is going, because footprint is a very, very, very real consideration. Doesn't matter how much space you have, it's never enough. And if you're making freaking massive footprint single use pieces only, like you're gonna fall behind. Like the more multifunctional you can do, the more you can make a machine multifunctional and keep the footprint lower. Like the more marketable you're going to be. Ultimately, the better you're going to be, because the more you're in this game, the more you realize you just don't have enough space. Like you just don't have enough space, independent of how much you have or how little you have.
Cycle, and then you never use it again. Or
So he's talking about it's important to recognize, again, the longer in this game, the more you learn this through trial and error. Like, you don't just buy stuff because it's super hyped, especially if you've not tried it. And again, I've made that mistake. I still make that mistake from time to time. But you ultimately have to find what fits your body and what you enjoy. So he's talking about his experience with a prime pullover.
It's a great piece, but it was a little bit too much of a wide king for it, so it's kind of weird to fit in there. And also, it wasn't the biggest stretch in the back of the machine that could possibly be. And I just almost never used it, so I had to get rid of it. I donated it away because it was basically, I didn't buy it on a whim, but close. I was like,
Prime pullover, so many. I've got the prime pullover. I've modified it. I can show you a different video. We'll make a video of that. But he's got a lot of good points. The stretch could be better. It's good, not great. The cam could be better. Unfortunately, the cam's just too mild on it. But he's absolutely got a point. Like, regardless of hype or not hype, if there's a machine sitting around that you just doesn't fit you don't like, independent of what stickers on it, like, there's no reason to keep it.
I need one of those. You really need one of those. Turns out with cable situations, with fluid situations, I had all the single arm extension stuff and single arm pulling from lats that I really needed. So,
I mean, that being said, I would say very hard to have a complete home gym without a pullover machine. Very, very hard to have a complete gym, period, without a pullover machine. There's so many pullover machines to choose from. I love pullovers of all different shapes, sizes, and varieties. So I would say he just needs to keep shopping around and trying different ones that fit his frame, because very, very, very difficult to replicate that movement with cables.
The big take home here is when you're building your own gym, be it a home gym, a garage gym, even your actual gym that for clients and customers to come through, Really think through that first grouping of machines. Core, high quality machines with tons of...
No, and obviously that's what we're talking about. Like, the pullover is a novelty piece. It's not necessarily going to be a staple. You want to have staples first, depending on your space situation. And obviously, you don't buy this stuff just to keep it and look at it. You don't, like cars. You buy this stuff to use it. So if you're not using it, if you're not going to use it, there's no reason like to just hold on to it unless you're just one of these weird OG collectors that just holds on to stuff. What I mean, whatever. But that being said, like I said, I think he's absolutely right. I don't care what sticker is on it or not on it. Like, I'm gonna, if I can make a machine better to fit my frame to actually be functional for me, I'm gonna do it. And if the machine isn't functional for me, regardless of the sticker, I'm gonna get rid of it. All right, now what we're gonna do is react to his top 10 best gym machines. He makes this video with Jared Feather. Let's take a look.
The Prime. Prime is just getting love. And they deserve it. It's unbelievable.
So he's going to talk about his their top 10 gym machines. So let's see what his number one is. We'll go straight to the... their number one on their list is the Atlantis Hack Squat Pro. So definitely very adjustable, which is nice. He needs to use some of the machines that I have, particularly my modified machines, because that's the problem. As I've talked about it before, most people don't know how to make foot plates at the right angles. But I mean, more or less, the Atlantis Hack Squat Pro, I still think it's the best on the market. I mean, 30-degree angle, as Jared talks about here, he likes that. The beauty of it is you can adjust the back pad up to make it a standing leg press. But the money, I think, as he talks about, let's see if I can get it. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what happens. That's what happens when your torso is more upright and not straight linear in line where you're getting spinal compression. So the sweet spot is the two setting, I think. For me, the 2 or the 3 setting. I have the old version. The problem with this machine is it's absolutely freaking massive, and it's very expensive. But if you're a new gym, get it. I mean, I've got the older Gen 3 model. I actually love it because the foot plate is such that I can do one-legged. I'll show you my favorite way to use it is just one-legged, turn to the side, heels up, pistol squat. So this is the older model, much smaller footprint. Check it out. This is my favorite way to use it. Slightly turn to the side. You guys can see I've got a seatbelt on there, which makes a massive difference. I've got a pad behind my neck, but slightly turn to the side, and I'm kind of showing, this is from Instagram where I'm showing this is the Gen 2, like 35 degrees-ish versus the 30 degrees. But look at my heels up, I'm getting crazy quad, crazy glute. But you see the space down here? I never really liked it, but I actually love it now because I can put my other foot in there and do this pistol squat. It's just an unbelievable movement. Once you do this movement, you just don't want to go back to two legs at a time squat, because it just hits glutes and quads and adductors just like nothing else. But I just don't like these rubber covers they have over it, because there's always a gap in between. It's just weird. But you know, for the longest time I wanted to get this the Hack Squat Pro, but it's so big, it's going to take up so much extra space, and I just love this movement enough. It's not worth it with a seatbelt. You can see I've got a loading point here, so I can take these horns off and make it much more narrow. But phenomenal machine. I think it's the best on the market. I just love the roller system, just because it's so good on range of motion. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal machine. It's just absolutely massive, and it's expensive. And for some reason, Atlantis keeps making this weird. They need to get. I mean, you got this Atlantis logo on here. So let's see. So the back pad, like I said, the sweet spot's 2 or 3, where you're not all the way upright, but you're in between. That takes the tension off of the spine. You get no spinal compression. But you can do that. Just put a pillow behind your neck, and you'll get the same position. I've got a seatbelt on mine. I've got the weight horns behind it, so it's way more narrow. But for some reason, Atlantis keeps making this weird. They got these rubber covers over the footplate, which just makes it weird. I'd rather have, some non-skid footplate rather than gaps in between. But that's just kind of Atlantis. So let's see number 2. Number 2 is the Nautilus assisted pull-up. The old Graviton. Assisted pull-up machine, I think, is honestly a must for a commercial gym. It's sort of nice to have for a home gym. Obviously, you can use bands to assist you at a regular. But this is it right here, yeah. So see how this pivots right here? See how this pivots and it's not straight linear. So it's forcing you to retract your scapula. It's forcing you to retract your scapula up, so you're behind. You're not straight in line. You're behind the movement. So I've shown my kids and others how to do this for years on just a regular one, where you keep your knees at the edge of the pad. But it is nice. It just lacks it lacks good grips.
Machine at my house. There's a difference between.
So I mean, the key honestly is to make that L to learn how to retract your scapula and engage your core. Now he talks about how he likes the kneeling assisted pull-up machines more than the standing. I think the standing is a better biomechanical option, honestly, because it forces you to engage your core. If you don't engage your core, that tension, you're not actually able to truly isolate your back. But that's the beauty. If you squeeze your abs and engage your core, when you do this, which the standing version forces you to do, it allows you to truly isolate your lats. But very, very, very true. It's a very underrated piece.
It's one of those retro gyms. We had to throw retro machines. We had to throw in 1 or 2 of these for you guys to be like Carmen San Diego up in the spot.
Old school body, best friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll be bottoming out the machine, but I'm getting good.
Yeah, so depending on the assisted pull-up you use, depending on how long your arms are, you can totally bottom out. Range of motion is good. It just needs different grips. It needs some of my special grips on there. And I might consider debating it, getting it, and adding the adjustable prime pull-up handle on there, and put a little bit of goodness on it. I don't know if it's worth the space for me, but it is. I've got the old Life Fitness model, which we actually use a lot. Again, the key is just learning how to retract your scapula back. And then he's talking about his machine number 3 is the hoist chest press. We showed this earlier in his gym.
Is the hoist chest press.
So love or hate, we talked about that before, but the idea is look at the movement path and how it forces you to keep the tension on your chest the whole time, and it doesn't dump it to your deltoids. The problem is it's just not converging. So it's and obviously you're limited by a selectorized weight stack, whereas a plate loader just infinite way to load it and change the resistance profile. So if you guys tried my modified decline, flat, and incline hoist rocket plate loader chest presses, like, you would want to own them in your gym. You would absolutely, if you know biomechanics, if you appreciate biomechanics, if you appreciate stretch and contraction and load, you would very likely want those in your gym, because they're just absolutely freaking phenomenal machines.
Be a water park either way, wherever you go, as long as the hoist machine is right with you.
With the resistance profile is literally exactly how the strength curve should be for a muscle when you're training on.
I would say the selectorized is good, not great though.
Perfectly.
It doesn't match. The selectorized does not match perfectly. You gotta try the stretch on some of my machines.
As you press, because you're also pushing back at the same time. Your body's moving away from that line of resistance. It's literally the best chest press in the course.
It's good. Nowhere near the best. He needs to come try some of mine.
One now at the RP gym, and so the depth that you're going to get on that as far as stretch is like insane.
But
So you can even modify the machine with more pads. It's a great machine. It's just phenomenal. It also has adjustable.
let's see number 4, the prime seated row.
Next, there are women in this world, and I know this sounds crazy, that have very, very low standards for the earth. There's only one
He's going into his jokes.
Is so goated. They don't use steel, use plastic, they use rubber. It's literally all goat parts, made physically from goats, slaughtered at.
So I've reviewed it on me before. I can show you my modified Strive version, the original version. The Prime version works phenomenal one arm at a time. You've got the free floating ROT8 handles. It's not the GOAT though. It's probably top 2 on the market. But I may have it number 5 in my top 5, maybe number 4 or 3. But it's not the GOAT. But it's very, very good. As I've talked about before on here, the issue is the the linkage is such that it's super hard to get out. You know, it's the lift off that's the hardest. So you use a pad. Doesn't have a pre-stressed lever, and you're only loading from one side. If the linkage arm was bilateral instead of unilateral, instead of fixed, it would be even better. But you guys have seen how I've taken my Prime Strive machines and perfected them. I've probably done 7 or 8 iterations of this machine, of my Strive, and now it's absolutely perfect. I'll have to show you in a separate video. But the original is not even close to mine. But I agree. If you're a gym and you're looking for the best available, at least for now, I would get this machine.
And then it gets so much easier at the very top. You have this ability to just completely connect my muscle with your back, click the elbows back, raise the chest, get a crazy contraction, and then pre-prep your elbows for massive eccentric control. You ride out the whole eccentric, and as you ride it out and try to keep it to be super slow, but maybe 2 or 3 seconds, it gets tougher, and you have to rip your lats open trying to control it.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've reached out to Prime. I could show them how to make it a 10.9 out of 10 machine, 11 out of 10 machine, but they're not interested. But it is a good machine, but it's not nowhere near perfect. Let's see what's next.
Coach, yes.
On most.
He's showing this free motion machine in his gym. His volume keeps getting crazy high. So free motion, very good machine. Lots of people talking about it. You guys have seen Coop and others who have modified this with a stability pad. That's what it lacks, but it's just the size, the width of it, and obviously it's a linear force curve. You guys try my Strive medical cable machine, and we'll see if we can't come out with a functional trainer with the same technology. Like, it won't even be close. It won't even be in the conversation anymore, because obviously the free motion's a nice machine. You're just limited by a linear force curve, which doesn't necessarily match the body. But as far as adjustability in a home gym or commercial gym, like, it's hard to beat how functional like a free motion type machine is.
Every bicep movement you can think of, still good. The most modern free motion machine, tell anyone that's better than a cable system.
So next on there is this is Life Fitness slanted.
Next
Smith
up,
machine.
one of Jared's favorites, the Axiom Fitness Slanted Smith. How many more names does a machine like?
So Smith machine, there's a ton of Smith machines out there now. So this is a nicer, updated version because it does go closer to the floor. There's several versions that do that now. There's Smith machines that are coming out now that you can go straight 0 degrees to almost 10 degrees. Which is nice. I think Max Pump's coming out with one. Smith machine is nice, not essential, but it is nice. From a home gym, as I've talked about in other videos, I would still get a multi-machine. I would get a functional trainer built into a Smith machine. I don't think a Smith machine by itself, without a functional trainer attached, is worth the real estate for a home gym.
This is a nerve straight.
Yeah, like this launch.
Jared Feather. In bar.
I was gonna say.
Let's see what we got next here.
Just do full spectrum, everything.
All right, the next one on, as we talked about, he showed in his home gym, is the Pit Shark. Great machine. Lots of companies making copies of it, replicas. So pretty easy, pretty inexpensive to find now. As I talked about, I still think the issue is there's so much mechanical advantage. I would always use this most proximal hole. The most distal hole, it's so freaking light. Unless you're doing pull-ups or dips, Like when you do squats, you got to have it back here. It's just way too light, and you got to use bands because you get guys doing like 15 plates on each side, like two-thirds range of motion, crap range of motion. But still, my favorite way to use it is face away, bent over, one-legged or double-legged RDLs. All right, check it out. This is some recent footage of me doing it. Single and double leg. You can't see the wedge. I've got the wedge all the way back. I've got it in the most proximal hole because it's the second most proximal because it just lines up. But these little handles back here allow me to push my butt against it so I don't hyperextend or cause too much anterior pelvic tilt. But it's just a phenomenal way to do it. I have some bands behind me to emphasize peak contraction. But I love, and I'm using the Prime adjustable handles. I love doing this movement 1 and 2 legs at a time because it allows me to focus on the movement. It takes the tension off my lower back, and there's something magical about having the load behind you when you do a deadlift movement.
We bought it a few cartons. Remember, you used to the beautiful tapestry of my
Lifts and good morning type variations.
Yeah, this is a great way to use the machine. And what I also do sometimes is I bring my Titan pronar bench right up to here, my Titan pronar bench that you can adjust the angle, and you can do bent over rows with it. So, you know, if they're actually smart, they would build a removable chest pad, a removable adjustable chest pad that you can take on and off and do bent over, prone, upright type rows based off of it.
flip in, you can do it.
Like you said, make this.
Our Arsenal leg press. He's talking about the Arsenal leg press again. Good. I'd say it's good,
Leg press
but nowhere near the best leg press ever.
is a newer clone of the Nebula leg press from back in the day, and it actually is better than the Nebula because I've used both back to back. The plate angle's a little better on the Arsenal. The seats
It's a steeper angle, slightly steeper angle.
with minimal modification. For some people, no modification at all. The Arsenal leg press feels like
No shoulder pads, no band attachments. All right, here's some more recent footage of my UCS leg press. You can see I've got it. It's a bilateral unilateral. The foot plate's massive. I've shown this on you before. It's in a fused version now. This is more adductor glute version. So your feet slightly higher, slightly turned out. Look at the range of motion. I've got shoulder pads obviously behind me to stabilize it. You can't see, I've got some handles under here that just perfectly are where you want to grab to stabilize it. And I've got some bands attached to give me emphasis on the end range of motion. You can see just a little bit, but more or less it puts you in such a stable position. The more you're able to get a leg press almost all the way supine, the better, because it allows your hips to be behind you, so you're not over rotating your back and causing a lot of lower back issues. I also like that there's a little space, like you can't see it, there's a little space in here for your lower back to go. Do not like the lumbar pads. You want space here for your lower back to go into its natural lordosis. But look at it. Look, this is just the one leg at a time. More feet are lower, more quad. Look at the range of motion I can get. Look at how much knee flexion I can get, and I'm not feeling like I'm popping out of the seat. But because my hips stay back in the more almost straight zero degree position, I'm able to get way more range of motion, and there's absolutely no stress on my lower back. UCS leg press is just way better, but it's a nice piece. Yeah.
I was going to keep the love flowing, but Jerry has the red lightsaber for a reason. Arsenal, you guys are great. I like the hardcore elements of the machine. I don't love everything about them, but Arsenal's a great.
Anything, but as low as you need it for getting that full range of motion.
Yes.
The biggest issue with most leg presses.
So this seat is way too long. There's no reason to have it. The key with people that make leg presses, they don't know what they're freaking doing as far as the butt pad. I can show you with all my machines. Butt pads are way too long on 95% of leg presses. So it's restricting range of motion, and you're freaking sitting on the muscle that you're working. So that's so much can be improved with the design of the machine. I can show people how to do it. But anyways, Arsenal leg press, one of the better ones available, but nowhere near the best leg press ever. All right, then he goes on talking about the new Texod lateral.
Jared, I've noticed something in our list. This is going to be tough to admit. That you've completely alienated and stuff. Do you like Samsung things?
So I was talking about nationalism.
Whatsoever outside of really just military and just top strap. So when you have a lateral.
So the benefit, I've talked about this machine on here before, is the strap. The built-in strap. You know, Jim 80 is doing the same thing now. Nice machine, needs a chest pad, nowhere near perfect. I don't know what people think, they don't add a freaking adjustable chest pad. It's good, nowhere near the best ever. I've talked about this on here multiple times before, where you can add accessory straps and mimic this machine without having the machine, with better range of motion on say like a Panada or other brand multi-flight. But there is something to be said for taking the grip out of the equation. It can help people connect with the delts more. But the straps themselves could be improved to allow more angular range of motion to hit rear delt and front delt rather than just medial delt. It's a good machine, but I can show them how to make it better.
So it's very well built.
Dope.
Yeah.
But I've made many videos on here talking about how you can do that, and I just made a short yesterday about adding playing with some new handles on a lateral raise machine.
300 pounds.
Yeah, which you don't need. Right, Jared and I lying leg curl.
So the next one here is the Panada line leg curl.
But I just have to make a clarification on my part.
Panada.
It's not a panada. It's a panada. Every time I use any other machine, it's not a panada machine
So obviously Panada, very high quality.
that I could be using instead. I look over to my left and imagine
Just want to go back and see the side profile.
it's not a panada. It's a panada. Lying leg curl. I introduced it all wrong.
So they're going to talk about, so very high quality. The upholstery is phenomenal. Like, it just gives you a luxury feel. The benefit of this machine is the extra stretch he talks about, because it does give you a little bit more pre-stretch. The handles are nice, decent angle. The angle needs to be adjustable though. People that make this one fixed angle don't know what they're doing. They need to make it adjustable to have full hip extended line leg curl or full hip flex line leg curl. The other thing is the cam's decent, not great. The cam's way too long and sweeping. That doesn't match the natural strength curve. But I will say it's a nice leg curl, nowhere near worth the money in my opinion, and nowhere near the best prone leg curl ever. But it is a nice machine.
Scott, that's not we record this, but I just have to make it clear. Hey, you know, use it the button. Whereas many other not so great machines, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to be there for a little bit, 5-6 cents to get this. But not the hamstrings patients after we're at it.
All right, so they're talking about, he's going to talk about some extra ones he likes. Jared's bonus list.
Something we don't do.
And a lot of this is going to come down to personal preference. Let's see what he says. Panada standing total arm. So, interesting machine. I've used it. You can see it adjusts up and down. The benefit of it is it's multifunctional. You can theoretically do multiple different standing bicep curls versus tricep extensions. It's just you got one fixed attachment point, and it's just kind of weird because it's not. It's like a leg curl that's not center driven. Sometimes you get a little bit of unequal loading. It's more of a novelty machine. But I don't think it's worth the cost. You can just do the same thing at a cable station. Good, not great.
It's a very comfortable.
I love the idea of it. The execution could be better.
You can really lean into that. Super stable.
But the benefit of it is you can do multiple things at it. I still think the Paramount Total Arm is better. Atlantis makes a sort of a similar equivalent now that's plate loaded. Let's see what's next. The Prime Preacher.
When people do preacher curls, they often do this thing where they put their front delts over the pad too far instead of leaning away from it and pulling the front delt back. But whenever you can use...
Obviously, the key is to lock your upper arm into the pad as hard as you can, so you're not using your front delt.
Still super hard at the bottom.
So nice machine. As he says, it works better one arm at a time.
It's insane. So when the set gets hard and you do...
But the plate loaded I think is better than the selectorized, just because of the variable resistance. I think the cam, it's not aggressive enough, honestly, because you don't get a full drop off, in my opinion. I'll have to show you my modified first gen Strive. It's just another level, but one arm at a time, it does work well. It just gives you one grip option though. You like, give me a hammer curl, give me a different option than just a preacher curl.
Prime selectorized flat chest press machine.
So
When I went and trained Nick Walker,
that version doesn't, that version's the newer version.
the best pump I've ever had in my life.
Whoa. Is it tough at the bottom?
Yeah, so they have 5 cams.
What?
So obviously that's the difference between Prime and Strive. It's 5 cam settings versus 9.
Okay.
5 is some weird like mid-range. I don't know, not exactly the mid-range, but like right before the deep. So then it like lets off a little bit at the deepest, which you don't want.
So nice machine. It doesn't converge enough in my opinion. I've still got the first gen Strive selectorized. I'll have to show you my modified version. Handles are good, not great. The original honestly works better as a decline if you stick your butt out from the pad and use it as a decline, because a little bit too much stress and tension on the front delts with the motion path, in my opinion. But it's high quality Prime. You're going to get an adjustable strength curve.
I hope this has been informative. If you are confused about what machines to use, just go in there and start trying stuff.
That's honestly the lesson.
Machines pops up.
That's honestly the lesson, is just try stuff. Don't feel like you gotta follow the cult crowd of buying all the same flex leverage or whatever else just because everyone else does it, or because some juiced influencer says it's good doesn't mean it's great. Ultimately, you just got to try it for yourself, and I think that's a good lesson to learn from this.
Warm up really well, get some quality sets in, probably won't regret it.
But curious from your perspective, what machines he showed that you like or don't like, and what ones he may have missed from your own personal list.
If you want to track your workouts, you can actually type in the kind of machine and make it its own exercise in the RP hypertrophy app.
So, I mean, more or less, lots of good thought-provoking discussion about machines, and ultimately, never be afraid to try stuff out. Never be afraid to have your own opinion, independent of the, conditioning, programming of whatever, and often the fake hype that the industry gives to certain machines or movements or brands over others. So, let me know what you guys think. Have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more cool content.